The question of whether or not life is specific to planet Earth is one that is a rather difficult question to answer without any level of concrete evidence. I mean, even if an alien landed in your backyard, crashing his megalithic spaceship totally foreign in design and color, colors you've never seen and likely never will again, that would be pretty concrete, right? But let's consider something. Reality is the world around us, and the senses that we have within us are what determines the reality of our own illusions. What is real can be felt, seen, heard, smelled, or tasted. However, our reality is simply based on the senses we are equipped with, like reality sensors. Ultraviolet rays are certainly there, and they cause damage to the skin over time. But we cannot see them, nor can we feel them until later that day, when you've already been turned lobster red. It's not part of our observable world. You certainly can't taste, smell, and hear those rays either. So they may be real, but they are not part of the observable world. Our reality. Now, of course, I know that UV rays are real, but I'm simply saying that we need something else to see them, something we're not naturally equipped with. We need technology. But see, UV rays have no effect on ants. For ants cannot get sunburn. Ants don't have skin to burn. And this is my point. Maybe ants can see them with those big-ass insect eyes, but it doesn't matter. The point is, reality is heavily reliant upon agreed-upon, confirmed, constant illusions that reappear in the same manifestations each time, without fail. Your dog is always there waiting at your door upon your enter, and you are showered with affection and huffs of excitement and slobber. So much slobber. Furthermore, reality, the agreed-upon state of the natural world around us, is also dependent on our own chemical makeup. Take the ant, who only ever knows work and serving the queen's needs. Various species of ant exist, and each differs in its own way. This is not to compare human to bugs, but it is to say that in our reality, we cannot perceive a world where we are the ants, and so that is not reality. I know what you're thinking. What the hell does this have to do with aliens? Well, reality. Reality, the agreed-upon illusion. Take our chemical makeup and boil it down into the most basic of compilings. Carbon, some water, some oxygen and iron, magnesium, and so on and so forth. Well, our ability to sense the reality around us then must be dependent on our own makings. What if the basic component of life on a different planet is electricity, whose properties are vastly different from ours? Or helium, or any other elemental force? What if lava people, rock men, tree women? We scoff at these thoughts and think, how absurd, more often than not. But in all honesty, this is what makes me think it's real. I mean, ants can't distinguish the difference between a man and a woman, nor could it determine the difference between the races of humans. So, for us to say that we know that lava people are impossible is to say that ants know the best basketball players are black. It's just impossible to know for them, unless it was showed. Much like the stories of God in the old times, where people were showed the light. Alan Watts refers to the Buddhist origin of Gnostics, or in modern times agnostics, which comes from the Greek word agnosia. This word in modern times means essentially and quickly that we cannot know the true nature of the natural world. But if this was really the case, then we would not be able to determine the difference between us and the rest of the animal kingdom. We would just be monkeys swinging through the rainforest, flinging shit at the monkeys we don't like. So what the heck is my point? My point is this. We have a lot of information surrounding the whole UFO topic. Thousands, if not literally millions of videos exist out there of unidentified craft flying above our planet. But I urge you to refrain from shouting out what it is. I ask you to admit your ignorance, for this is the reality. We may know the nature of the world, but not fully, just enough. But this is one of the trillions of planets out there, and to pretend that the knowledge we've gained from living on just one is enough to assume the truth and reality of the rest of the universe? Well, that's what I call quite a big jump. We've never lived on any other planet than Earth, as far as we know, despite Mars looking like Earth after, well, Joe Biden falls asleep at his desk and smacks his forehead against the nuclear detonation button. Side note, Joe Button had that Diet Coke delivery button Trump had switched out for a little girl delivery button. Anyway, we only know that which we can. And what we know is that we live on planet Earth. And many other things, of course. We certainly have a solid grasp on the nature of the world we inhabit. I don't think this is what is impossible. You see, in Hindu philosophy, the highest state of consciousness in samadhi is called nirvikalpa samadhi, which means non-conceptual. Vikalpa means a concept and nir is a negation. And so it means to be conceptless. And so, to be conceptless is to be awakened to the highest state of consciousness achievable. We must rely on our own knowledge, our collective knowledge. However, just because we can find out does not mean that we should. Once you let the soap out of the container, you cannot put it back in. And so we should practice restraint in this regard, as it is of utmost vitality. If we wish to discover the truth, that is one thing. But what we want is secondary to what is needed, and we often confuse the two. You may want aliens to be on Earth, and maybe you don't. The point is not to choose one or the other. It's to not care. I'll never tell you not to care or not to research this stuff. Dive in head first. When it becomes an issue is when it becomes your truth. When you marry ideas, you end up heartbroken because ideas cannot love you back. Only living things can do that, and not most of them. We live in a very strange reality, ladies and gentlemen. The world is ever-changing. It was born of chaos and raised by order. But we mustn't pursue the material. One must not only seek the immaterial either. This planet depends on balance. Right? I want to thank you for watching. I've always struggled with expressing the real thoughts that I want to share, and I just want to let you know that you too can drop the charade. You don't have to pretend you're anything other than what you are, and what you, me, and the rest of us are, except for those leviathans in Washington, D.C., we're badass motherfuckers. So be conceptless, and be formless, like energy, like water. Let yourself be let go. And watch as you smile, watching your old self fall into the void of the past. We know many things in this world. Of course we do. But in reality, in all there is to know, we know nothing. Thank you, and have a great day.